So the so the aim of the work is to reverse that, so that there's someone in the carriage that is controlling the response.
Yeah, and impatience seems to cause me to skip over things to get to the
Correct.
to get to the answer.
Yeah, because the tail. Hi, Claudia. The tail's wagging the dog.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Oh, it's so good to see you, Claudia. Hello.
Hello.
Does that make sense, Deepa?
Yes, it does, and it's unwinding that is going to take some time that I will not be impatient with.
Well, what it demands of us is discretion. There's a part of us that just wants to come up with the formula, right? And they apply it in every situation. And but every situation is unique, right?
Right.
And so our response, hopefully, is tailored to the situation we're in, or the circumstance.
I realized when I was studying with Russell, my impatience was to get past all the minutia of information that was not pertinent to what I wanted to achieve. And so I did not take the time to really absorb and study that which I did not see was going to assist me in my goal. I was impatient. I shall work on this.
Oh, that's interesting. That's a I can really sympathize actually with.
Thank you.
with what you're saying. So, in fact, we may talk a little bit about that today. Maybe we'll see. We'll see where the class goes.
Well, I'm thrilled to be here.
So, well, it's 11:03. So we might as well begin. Even though Rick shows up down below, he's with his a friend from England, so he's not here, but he signed on so that he could make me the host. So that's why you see his name, but he's not present. So
well, he'll get a transcript.
Yeah, not only a transcript. Oh, he'll get the recording. So they, but so as Rick alluded to in his email, when Russ did sessions similar to this, he opened up with best moments. Okay, so they Anybody have a best moment in the last week that they like to share with us?
Well, surprise, I do.
Deepa, best
Oh, thank you.
moment.
I this doesn't start out sounding like a best moment. My daughter from Phoenix was in town to see my daughter Tana, my eldest, and they had said they were going to come over, and she had some stuff she wanted to drop off, and they'd call before they came. And so this was early in the morning, and I've been ill with my bladder infection, so I was just not doing anything anyway. But I waited and I waited and I waited and I waited and I waited, and they didn't call. And they didn't call. And so I postponed eating lunch because I figured, well, they're going to come here right when I'm going to eat. And I don't want to be eating when they come. So I waited and I waited. And finally, the day was almost gone. And I thought, well, maybe they're coming over to see the garden by those candles that I've got out there, because it's so pretty. They're operated by solar, and so anyway, nothing. So my son comes coming through the room, showing me he's got Tana and Tara on his phone, and I said, "Well, why didn't you come? What? Oh, we got too busy." And I said, "You could have called." Anyway, I was peeved and I was tired and sick and tired. So I thought, oh crap. I saw that I was identified, or, that I was peeved, negative emotion. And I thought, oh, I don't have the energy to double on this. I'll do it in the morning. And then I realized, oh, yeah, sleeping on it will take the immediacy out of it, but you'll form an account if you let this sit. And so it's like, okay, what can I do? And the aphorism from uh, the dog tales was, only he can be just who can put themselves in the position of another. And so I thought, okay, I'll just put myself in the position of these girls over there, not coming to see their sickly mother, and realized, why in the world would they make that a priority when I'm obviously not fit for human company? But also, they had other things that they had to accomplish, and it just slipped past them. And anyway, it completely took all of my stuff off of it. And I bring this up, I was immediately clean. And I just bring this up because it might help someone to realize you don't put off and just let something be okay because you're going to ignore it, is not doing the work.
Wonderful. And how long did this process take?
Of letting it go?
Mhm.
About a minute.
Yeah.
It
So
was a very arduous minute.
yeah, well, conscious effort. So and intentional suffering and letting go of your grievance, right?
Yeah, those sort of feel good.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I was righteous. They were wrong.
So, exactly. Letting go of that righteous indignation. Oh my goodness. So so that's a factor. It's like with the tools that we have, uh, it really doesn't take very long to deal with that. And if it does, we always have the operation, always have the option of going, okay, This isn't going to be resolved, quickly. But I'll get, I'll get back to it later. Maybe make an appointment to when that happens.
Or look around for something that will serve quickly.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
listening.
Oh, you're welcome.
I have something to share.
Okay, Nadir.
I will share a screen while doing this, so it'll be the background for the best moment. Can you see?
Yes. Oh my goodness.
There's
Uh,
our man.
Oh wow.
This is a painting of Russell Smith by Ditha. And if people don't know, Ditha is an artist.
Nadir, could you turn your volume up a little bit?
Can you hear me now?
Oh, that's
Can you-
better. Yes.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't the volume, it was the microphone. Okay.
So Ditha is an artist, and she lived in the property near Russell. How many? 20 years, Ditha?
20 years, yeah.
20 years. And she painted this painting, and I don't know what happened, but at some point she said she gifted me the original, which is very meaningful for me. So, but it came without a frame. So for the first time in my life, I was like, okay, I need to choose a frame. And then Peter helped me, so that was good. And yesterday I went to Michael's. It's a store that does the framing, and it was this very sweet young woman who took the work and explained it. It was really, really, and she immediately said, "Oh, this is nice." But then, as she took it back and came back just to say goodbye, she said, "Who is that person?" And I
Mm.
said, "It's my spiritual teacher." But it's interesting that there's something there that made her some impression. So that was a sweet moment for me too. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
When I took the photograph that I did the painting from of Russell, it was at the end of my first journey there.
Uh-huh.
And so he was very, when I was taking it, he said, "Oh, you want me to look like I'm creating deep thoughts here?" And he laughed as he was looking out the window. "I'm going to think deep thoughts." And I said, "Precisely."
So, thank you.
Thanks, Nadir. Thanks for sharing that best moment and the painting, and thank you, Deetha, for all of your talent. That's extraordinary. Picture,
You're welcome.
painting.
Come on, somebody had to have a best moment.
Oh no, yeah. So
Yeah.
oh, no.
So I wouldn't call it the best moment, but I think I need some encouragement. So, because today and the last time we should have talked about the tRNA, right?
Uh-huh.
That's
Oh,
the next. Yes.
yeah. Wait.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So
You
just
have to wait another week.
Yeah, I know, but just about this, because a couple of days or weeks ago, I don't know, I had again the urge to do the objective exercise,
All
because I
right.
think it was in the last, as I did not attend the last time, I think it was Pamela who said how important it is to go further in the work, right? To have the
Uh-huh.
objective exercise makes things easier, makes things more clearer. So, and I really had the intent of doing the exercise. Went to Appendix 1, and the first thing is where Russell writes there: if you attempt the objective exercise without completing all 7 chapters of the Blueprint of Consciousness and all the exercises therein, you will probably be it will probably be meaningless. And then I again was discouraged because I did not all the exercises and went through the chapter 4 through the tRNA again, and I just don't get it. I've read it 4 times, and I just don't get it. And I'm not sure if I'm able to get the process right. What Russell did with this folding and all that stuff. And I think it was you, Jerry, who said a couple of classes ago that Russell only did go through these chapters after chapter 3 briefly. And because what I cannot imagine that somebody who has no experience with a 10 or 8-day crash course is able to understand this stuff and to do the objective exercise and to get to a new state. So because of that, it would be great to hear from you guys and gals who did this. Did you understand it? How long did it take? What help did you get? What helped you to understand that stuff? Because it doesn't get very much easier in chapter 5 also. There are also parts which are hard to swallow, right? Yeah.
Let alone chapter 6 and chapter 7.
Yeah, yes.
Thank you. This is the perfect segue into one of the things I wanted to talk about, and particularly to those of you who are in the process of going through the program. So my comments are going to begin with a confession, and that is I've been through a cosmic sequence with Russell Smith 3 times, actually 5 times. Okay. Through the whole program. I do not understand a tRNA. Okay. And what I'm going to say to you is that it's not necessary to complete the journey. What you might want to get out of the his giving the example of tRNA is that he's making a claim that there's an axiomatic image that underlines all phenomena, right? And so he's bringing up an example, a really important one, a biological one, and one that has to do with our own DNA, right? And the making a plausible case for the being able to see the structure of the major and minor, actually just the major oscillation in this molecule, right? So what I'm going to say to both of you and some of the other people who I can't see who may be listening or listen to this recording is that the what you should look for a Volcker or what a student should, does it make sense that the law of 3 and the law of 7 could show up in these incredible molecules of tRNA and DNA, right? That axiomatic image, if you were able to take like an X-ray, right? Then you would be able to see this structure of the major oscillation in those molecules, right? Now, how Russell got from A to Z, and his reasoning, which is remarkable. They that's not that important, and but let me stop there. Okay, and see if there's any response to what I've just said. Did that encourage you at all, Volker?
Yeah, sure did. So
Okay.
when you say you went through this 3 or 5 times, because also in the podcasts, there's also always with other students who went through it or who were going for went through it at that time. It's always repeated. You have also to repeat all the chapters. So what is it? Repeating is the mother of learning. Yeah.
So Volker, of all the people that I know who've gone through the program, I can't identify any one of those people who now Rick might. I mean, we'll find out, but only after years of going through it, and it's not necessary for the purpose of the book. The purpose of the book is to convince you that there's this axiomatic image that may help you to understand who you are, to help you understand, to help you to see that, oh my goodness, you know, the law 3 and the law 7 might be operating in me, right? And I can begin to look at myself as a diatonic octave, right? And that my first task, because apparently I'm I enter this world intentionally, not complete, right? I enter this world of separated forces in a state in which the forces aren't united in me, right? And my first task is to consciously unify myself, complete the octave of who I am, right? A tree doesn't have to do that. A dog doesn't have to do that. A horse doesn't have to do. Chimpanzee doesn't have to do that. Okay, no other form of or organic. They're just born the way they are. But 3 brain beings, because they're born into the La-T interval, and it's necessary that one form of organic life understand the process and engage in it intentionally, right? They it's necessary that beings are 3 brain beings are born incomplete. That's their first task, is to become who they are, to complete the octave of who they are. Yes? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's
Okay. So they a cosmic the intent of cosmic secrets is to implant in your intellectual center the possibility, okay? Because right now you can't before April Fools, it really isn't possible to fully verify this image of yourself, this axiomatic image of yourself, right? If you were to take an X-ray, right? To see this about yourself. But with April Fools, they you it's validated because what you experience, you're not necessarily able to see it, but you're able to feel the truth of it. Okay, for yourself. Not because I say it, not because Russell Smith says it, not because anybody says it, right? Oh my God, I was blind and now I see. I see it. I see it myself, right? I no longer need a teacher or a rabbi or I see the truth myself. I see the reality of myself for myself, right? I don't have to believe anybody. I can see it, right? Now, does that mean I can figure it out? That's a whole different thing. Now we're talking about the intellectual center, and the intellectual center, Volcker can't figure it out. Okay? Simply because not because it can't be calculated, but because of the sheer volume of the calculations that need to be made. Right now, we have this AI, artificial intelligence, right? And they're making just prodigious numbers of calculations per second. Far more than what we could do if we were to do it ourselves. It would take lifetimes, right? But they're able to explore the mathematics in the depth that our intellectual center, which is incredibly slow, could ever do. All right. So so what I'm saying to you, it really isn't necessary to figure it out. They it's necessary to explore it sufficiently so that you have a sense that there might be some truth there, right? Okay, but you're not going to become present to the truth until you awaken the top story in yourself. Does that make sense? And the purpose of the whole book is to give you some ideas that are real ideas, but they're clothed in mathematics because mathematics are inherently symbolic, inherently impartial, right? As opposed to words that can have like different emotional shadings. Yes. Okay. Okay. And the cosmic secrets is like a finger pointing It's like a finger pointing. Okay, I want you to look. This is where I want you to look, right? And you went through the April Fool's exercise, and after you exhausted the uh, uh, the bottom story, right? The instruction is to look up, right? Now, in the past, you looked up, but what you looked up, you saw the ceiling, right? Okay, in the past, when you looked up, all you saw was the ceiling. But in April Fools, when you look up, what you become aware of is something beyond the ceiling, and you can feel the presence of that something. You invite it in. You can actually feel that presence. Okay, this higher space above yourself, entering, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna uh, so Volker, they uh, was that helpful?
Yes, that was great, Sherry.
Okay.
I feel encouraged.
Okay. So they uh, um uh, well, okay, Deetha, you've been very patient.
Look at that.
I want to know how patient you. I haven't picked up any impatience on your part. Wow, you really are working on it.
Thank you, my dear. Anyway, what I wanted to add, Volker, is that being an artist, uh, I had little familiarity with all the mathematics when I came to this study. But I lived there 20 years, and I can attest, I just want to attest to you that the last examples that he gives of, Fibonacci and chords and all of this intricate stuff all support his, like you said it beautifully, Jerry, that his axiomatic image is everywhere and you can trust that. But by the first three chapters, you should be able to trust it because it shows up so clearly there. Um, and there's where impatience came in because I took it in, did all the stuff, and verified, yeah, that's true. Okay, got it. Especially his deal where he does the DNA and he does this long stick and it matches up, and it's like, ooh, wow, very impressive. But all that being said, the most important thing, Volker, that you need to do is do all of those exercises religiously. If you do those exercises until you feel comfortable with them, do the April Fools. You will achieve what I achieved, what I came looking for, a unification of myself and tools with which to clean up a really dirty machine, that just needed all the help it could get. So I just want you to know, uh, being a master of DNA and RNA isn't necessary. Over.
Thanks, Dieter.
Okay, Nadir.
Um, I think what helps me understand you, Volker, is I'm trying to relate to similar experience that I went through when I did the program. Because like you, I did it for the book. because there was no Russell available to do the 8 days when I joined this teaching. So one thing that I found important is the need to be hungry, and nobody can fake it for you. Either you're hungry or less hungry. It's just like you need to be motivated, and that's only can come from you. And then based on that is like what kind of force you have to do what the teacher tells you to do. Because if you trust the teacher at least a little bit, then it's worth a shot to do what he's saying. So for example, this stick that he suggested to build in that project, I decided to do it, and it was fun because I never did anything like that before. So even that creates memory. You put it together, and you go to the store, and you buy those things, and but so in a way, just doing it by not just with the mind, but with the hands and with sensing was actually useful. But is it absolutely necessary? I don't know. I don't know. Probably not. So and then there is this whole things that held me back, like you, like, am I good enough? Have I studied enough? Am I ready for this? Because there's fear of screwing it up. If I'm not perfectly ready, I'll botch it at the end, and that so not to give that too much weight as well. You know what I mean? Is like even Russ says that 2/3 is enough. It doesn't have to be perfect. Check all, cross all the T's and dot all the I's. And take 10 years to get there, because and that's what happened to people that came to him. I'm sure nobody mastered it in 8 days and understood everything down to that. They didn't, but they were motivated and they were hungry, and they just yes, of course, they did the exercises for polishing the queens and that stuff, and they were ready. And apparently, the success rate was very high. So, like the rest of us, I'm encouraging you to go for it.
You
Thanks.
have to own your own journey.
Thanks, Nadia.
Yeah.
Vilker, you've got to own your journey. Nobody's going to give it to you from the outside, but this is a guide of how to get yourself what you are desperately hungry for.
Well said, Dita. Yeah. So
And if I may add, like the first one, maybe it's very memorable because it's the first one, but people did it several times. It's like that's the only chance you get to get the most out of it. So even that should not be a scary thought.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Volker, this is just a really important point that you brought up, and actually it's something I encounter. I'm going to share with you. I'm still debating one of my best moments. But before I do that, uh, you've seen on the back of Cosmic Secrets, you've seen this. It's called a stereogram, right?
No.
On the back of Cosmic Secrets.
Not everybody has that book.
Okay. Well, Cosmic Secrets, on the back cover of Cosmic Secret is a stereogram. Have you ever looked at a stereogram? Volker?
I don't even know what a stereo is. This you see a picture with the right view on it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
So 3D.
Yeah. Okay. Claudia, have you ever looked at a stereogram?
I think Volker and I have a language problem. But I think we are both guessing the right thing. You change it a little bit, and then you might be able to see something, a number or a picture or something.
Correct.
We just don't know the English word of stereogram. Volker, hast du es gefunden?
It's in fact the same in German. It's a stereogram or a Raumbild. But we had in my youth I had a little book where a lot of those pictures were, where you didn't see anything, and you had to align your view exactly in the right angle, and then maybe you saw something. And I seldomly saw anything, but sometimes I did. Yeah, you're a magic guy. That's the one, sure. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, called the magic eye.
Yeah.
And actually, when I take people through the program, I actually encourage them to to get this book and to practice. Okay, so why? Why? Okay, so why did Russ put this stereogram on the back cover? uh, because they, as I said earlier, the cosmic secrets is a finger pointing at something deeper than is immediately visible. Okay, so I'm gonna share with you one of my uh, you able to see this picture?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's another way that this is a medieval description of what the stereogram represents. It's in this case, it's taking you sort of beyond the visible, right? To a the reality of the visible world to a higher level of reality, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's deeper. They uh, our four lower centers, instinctive, moving, emotional, and intellectual centers, are all apparatuses for experiencing this world. Yes? So in
Yes.
this
Yes.
world we can sense, in this world we can move, in this world we can feel, in this world we can think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in this world. But there is a larger space or dimension, if you want to use that term, that we can actually begin to experience. Uh, but the apparatus in us to do that are the higher emotional and higher mental centers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our ordinary instinctive, moving, emotional, and intellectual centers can know about this, right? We can have knowledge of this, but they we're not able to experience it directly. But our higher centers can. Comments? So April Fools is the process whereby we exhaust our lower centers so they're no longer distracting us. And when we do that, we're able to look up, oh my God, and we're able to see this this new world, this larger space, something we couldn't see before. We're able to see it.
And it's glorious.
uh, it is the purpose of cosmic secrets to convince you of this possibility, to convince you that it's your birthright to be able, it's your birthright to sense and to move and to feel and to think in this world, but it's also your birthright to see into a higher place. Okay?
It's really hard to describe to someone the taste of water.
Right.
And and Cosmic Secrets does it about as well as anything I've ever heard.
Well, it actually creates a path. It creates a pathway that enables this apparatus in you that is able to see what is invisible uh, to our material physical self, right? We're able to see with our mind, with our mind's eye, the a higher dimension of reality. So I'm going to share my best moment, which is a little embarrassing. So they I have a best mate who they I've known for over 50 years, and they we've absolutely explored these kinds of ideas for 50 years. Uh, and we were having a conversation about the April Fool's exercise, oddly enough, right? And we were discussing the great secret and the great truth, right? You so Claudia, have you read The Great Secret and the Great Truth?
No.
Okay. Well, at some point you will. So I'm not spilling the beans.
Okay. Thanks.
I'm not. I'm not spilling the beans here because it's something that you read before you do the exercise. So the great secret is all about the realization that okay. This is the lower story, right? This is the Ray to me. And the great secret is you've been in the lower story your whole life, and you've looked everywhere. You've looked everywhere, and you haven't been able to find what you were looking for, right? Yeah, you just weren't able to find it, but you searched high and low. Okay, you even looked up, but when you looked up, all you saw was the ceiling, right?
Right.
But now when you exhaust those centers, and now when you look up, okay, you're able to see uh, 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 there's more to reality than just this bottom story from Ray to me. Okay, okay. So, well, we're having this conversation, and I'm sort of feeling like, oh, oh my God, Lambert, you're coming up with some pretty good analogies. You're making sense, and person I'm talking to he says, oh yeah, this is making a lot of sense. I get it. Uh, 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 but I don't get the math. I don't get the math of it. And my best moment was my reaction, which at that point was, fuck the math.
Yay! I second that.
Which was a little embarrassing at the time. And I wasn't exactly sure. Well, when I said it, I wasn't actually sure what I was saying. But I realized that in this class that the opportunity came up to share this best moment. And Volker, I'm thrilled. You open the door. You open the door with your question about that. Fuck tRNA, right? That isn't going to wake you up. Okay. Yeah, you might have this unbelievable understanding of tRNA and still be totally asleep, right? Okay. Wait. The understanding tRNA does not wake you up. But seeing the possibility that the law of three and the law of seven, that somebody can see their operation in tRNA and in DNA. Okay, okay. I get it. I can't validate it. I can't prove it, right? But this is something he's doing mathematically, and he doesn't have an axe to grind here. And so, yeah, I'm going to say, okay. The axiomatic image TNA may be one place, another place where we've got light, we've got music, we've got the card structure, we've got our own psychology. Okay, so biologically, this may be another place, right? Okay, where this axiomatic is revealed. Okay. Claudia, forgive my language earlier.
I have a question. I would like to share very, very quick a best moment, which for me was a best moment, even if it didn't feel good. I was at my parents' place, at my mother's place last week. That's why I couldn't attend last week. And my mother couldn't hear for over a year now. And I had arranged an appointment with the specialist for the ears. And to make a long story short, she can hear now for 30% and 45% again, which makes a conversation a normal, now a conversation can be in normal loudness, Lautstärke.
Mhm.
You don't have to yell at her anymore. And when we came back from the hospital, I was kind of irritated already, because what she said, the words dropping out of her mouth, and her body language and her facial expression didn't go along with each other.
Hmm.
And she said that she was happy. And then after 2 minutes in the car, she said, "Oh, I wish I could see again, as I can hear again now." And I got so mad. For always, nothing is good enough the way it is. It always has to be more and more and more. And after a while, my sister joined the situation then later on, and there was this clarity, listening and watching how they were speaking and how they did whatever they did. It was so obvious that the mechanical part of the lower centers,
Mhm.
how they were driven by the mechanical parts of the lower centers. And the clarity to see it, that it was so obvious to me, was a perfect moment.
Oh, wow.
It was the reality to the theory. So this is it.
Correct.
This is it, what I've been reading about.
Yay.
And
Absolutely.
yeah, this
That's
is
what-
what I wanted to share. And then I have a question with your picture, how this kind of arrow with the stars is putting the picture in two parts. As you explained, the lower part with the world we can see with our senses and everything, and then there is this other part.
Mhm.
And how you described us looking up to the ceiling.
Mhm.
I was in a restaurant. I was with a friend yesterday evening, and we were talking, and she said, since we know each other, and we know each other since we are 18, you were never satisfied. You always questioned everything 100 times. And I'm not like that. I'm satisfied with the things the way they are. And listening to you, Jerry, I started wondering what makes people looking up to the ceiling and wondering if there is something more behind the ceiling, and what keeps people accepting the ceiling because there's just a ceiling.
Okay, great question. So,
Yeah, because here are only people who know that there is something above the ceiling, and we try to find a way that it's not just by coincidence getting a little blink from above the ceiling. But obviously there are people who just say, well, why don't you accept the ceiling? The ceiling is fine.
Magnetic center.
oh my God, Claudia, I love you. So,
Thank you. Love you too, Jerry.
so they, Gurdjieff has an aphorism. I think it's an aphorism. Maybe it's just a saying, but blessed are those who hath no soul, and blessed are those who do. But woe unto to them, right? Who have it in embryo, right?
Yeah.
And so they when you look at it from the point of view of evolution, I'm going to use an analogy, and I'm going to use the analogy of a butterfly, right? Okay. So I've got butterflies in my garden, right? And they lay these little beautiful white eggs on my cauliflower and eat up my cauliflower leaves. So, and these little eggs turned into tiny little, tiny little worms. But those tiny little worms, in a couple of weeks, have become these big fat caterpillars, right? Okay. And 95% of those caterpillars feed the birds in my garden. And the birds love them, right? But 5% of the big fat caterpillars who don't get eaten at some point create this butterflies create a chrysalis, and moths create cocoons. So they the butterfly or the caterpillar then begins to spin this cocoon, and then lives inside of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the people who are satisfied with life are the caterpillars, just being fat, dumb, and happy with, uh, having wonderful cabbage leaves to eat, right? It's just a stage of development, right? Okay. Now, those that get big and fat, that's the point in their development where they might, after they've been satisfied for a while, they might go, oh, is this all there is? Right? Is there something more? Right? It may happen, it may not happen, but they it's at that point where they become dissatisfied or start to ask questions like you do all the time, right? So, so at that point, in the cocoon stage, what happens to the caterpillar? Oh my God, the caterpillar dissolves into this goo, right? The differentiated cells of the caterpillar revert to being stem cells. Is this making sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they're no longer differentiated into caterpillars. The DNA program for caterpillar, it becomes passive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so then you get this goo, and think about it from the point of view of the caterpillar. This is probably fairly distressing for the caterpillar to watch itself fall apart like that, right? Okay.
Yeah.
But once the caterpillar is dissolved into this goo, then, oh my God, in the DNA, there's the DNA for the butterfly, right? And now the DNA for the butterfly, which had been passive when the caterpillar was active, now because the caterpillar DNA is passive, the butterfly DNA becomes active. Oh my God! And so inside this cocoon, a butterfly begins to develop. I guess where you might be at this particular moment in terms of this analogy. So because you're in this program, I'm going to suggest to you the possibility that this butterfly the caterpillar in you is dissolving, and the butterfly in you is taking form, right? Okay, but you're still in the cocoon, right? You look up and you still see the ceiling, right? Right. Okay, but a moment comes when you've done all the exercises and you've got all the cards and you're ready to go, and you break out of the cocoon and oh my God, right? I'm now a butterfly. I'm not a caterpillar. I'm a new person, right?
Mm.
Okay. Did that answer your question? So there's some people who, for whatever reason in the sort of the stage of their development, are still in the caterpillar stage. And the people are sort of crazy and asking questions and upset, and that, those are the people who in sort of the cocoon stage, right?
Yeah, and then we don't fit anymore into the caterpillar world.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
Exactly.
We're just wait until you're a butterfly. Oh my God.
No, we have to work for it. It's just not sitting there.
But that's what, yeah,
Yep.
but
We have
that's
to do that.
it's your birthright. It's your birthright to be a butterfly. And yes. So a lot of your old friends will look at you. Some of them will still see you as a caterpillar, and some of them will still see you as this tortured soul. Uh, but there might be some people who actually, because they have to be able to see beyond the visible, right? Because the butterfly exists in this different space, right? They there will be people who know, hey, Claudia, there's something a little different about you. You seem to be a lot happier these days, and you don't seem to have as many questions, right?
Mm.
Yeah. So, does that help?
Yes, thank you, Jerry. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Volker, makes sense?
Yeah, sure it does. And just to add something, I mean, I don't know how long were you all on this path, but I have not been on this one long, so I can remember what I was before. Yeah, so
There you
yeah, a caterpillar for decades until maybe, I don't know, 5 years, 4 years ago. So when it made click,
Yep.
click. Before I was an atheist,
right.
Richard Dawkins and all that stuff, because he's a scientist, but it was completely out of the question to question the state of being.
Correct.
Because when you're dead, it's black, it's over.
Yeah, it's over. Yeah,
it's over. That's the materialist view on life and death.
correct.
And it's cynical, and it's go away, but yes, a switch, and then the interest was there, and then you read about that teacher and listen to that teacher, and you go to India and you go to whomever, but they're all, or most, the ones I learned about, they're only able to lead you in circles. You can listen to them for years, and
Correct.
it's all logical what they are saying. It sounds like truth, but there is no one who says you have, like Russell, supposedly you have to do this and that and that. I mean, there are ways, like in India, Vaita Vedanta or something, which I guess is kind of objective, but
Correct.
it's not a recipe like that.
Correct.
And that is
No, you put your finger on it. What's different about Russ is that he's not just talking about this other possibility in terms of knowing about it. It's actually, okay, You want to poke your head out of the cocoon? They, you know, here's how we do it. We build a spaceship called I Wish to Remember Myself, and boom, and we take off, and and we go there, right? How, right? I don't know of any other spiritual program that mm, uh, the really has a process that doesn't require a lifetime of effort, right? It's actually okay. I can take this course. I can read the book. I can do the exercises. Bingo, right? And I can verify and I can verify for myself. Oh my God, I was blind, and now I see. Think of the stereogram, right? Which is on the surface is just meaningless chaos, right? They but then when you relax your eyes and you do what you do, you're able to see uh, a an object that beyond the chaos, right? And the thing I want to emphasize is that the mathematics of fractals, uh, it's only with they were discovered in the late 1900s, no, the late 1800s, like right around the turn of the 20th century. But they weren't able to do much with them because the number of iterations required were in the thousands and millions. That it was just too much math, right? And so the I'm going to make the assertion that everything can be calculated, um, but it requires a supercomputer. Okay. I'm going to share does that make sense to you, Claudia? I'm going to share an example from my life, right? So in my youth, I was a chess player. And one of the people I played chess with was just brilliant guy. And he worked at the Stanford Artificial Intelligence Center. And at that time, this was 1968, so it was a while ago, over 50 years ago. They were working on a chess program, and he invited me to go play chess with the computer. Well, boy, even then, I was no match for the computer. But in this room, they had a robotic arm that they were programming to pick up a pencil, right? And my friend's name was Lin Quam, and Lin Quam said to me, the mathematics involved in programming the robot to reach down and pick up the pencil. It takes about all of the computing power in this building, and about the energy needed by a small city.
Yeah.
Okay, and my response, my response was, look, and I reached down and I picked up a pencil. But all that mathematics was being done somewhere, right? Okay,
Mhm.
all of that computation was going on somewhere, and it was going on instantaneously. I mean, they, without a thought. So one of the things I wanted to give to you guys today was a new aphorism, in line with what we've been talking about, and I want everybody to write it down. Okay, and the new aphorism, I didn't come up with it. So, one of my mates for 50 years was an owner of a garage uh, in Sonoma, and I worked with him as a mechanic for a few years after I got out of school, getting on my feet, and people would come into the garage and they'd be upset because their car wasn't working. And they would be further upset because they had no idea of what was wrong or how the car worked. They didn't know how the engine worked, how the carburetor worked, how the transmission worked. They didn't, and so the car was sort of this mysterious thing they didn't understand, right? And it was sort of upsetting that they didn't understand. And what my friend would say to them, and here's the aphorism. He would say to them, you don't have to be a mechanic to drive your car. Right? If you've got a problem, take it to a mechanic and he can fix it because, he knows about mechanics. But the aphorism, you don't have to be a mechanic to drive your car. And Volker, you don't have to understand, you don't have to figure out tRNA in order to poke your head out of right into a higher space, right, to awaken the higher emotional center. You don't need to do it, right? It's your birthright. Okay, you were born. You were born with all six centers. When you were first born, your moving center didn't work very well, did it? You had to learn how to sit up. You had to learn how to crawl. You had to learn how to walk. You had to learn how to talk, right? Okay. So, but you were born with a moving center, right? And so you were able to do those things, right? They and the same thing with the emotional center and the intellectual center. You went to school. Oh my God, you learned your ABCs. You learned how to count. You learned how to add addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Oh my God, right? You developed your brain, right? Okay, you developed your lower center, but your intellectual center was always there, right? Okay. Guess what? Same thing is true of your higher centers. They've always been there. They they haven't been switched on yet. Okay, they haven't been turned on yet. Right? And the April this program culminating in April Fools is the process that one can go through in order to activate that apparatus in you, right? And you don't have to be a mechanic to awaken your higher emotional center. You don't have to be a mathematician to awaken your higher emotional center. Just as Deetha so brilliantly says, Dave. It really isn't necessary. Now, the next step does involve some intellectual development of the intellectual center, but again, it's not about the math. Okay, so the development and awakening of the higher mental center. Okay, so. Tita,
Well, Volker had his hand up a lot longer than I did, but
Nadir.
mine's
You mean me?
oh, nadir. But I just mine's just a shorty. I wish I had realized that the culmination of my journey wasn't April Fool's and leaving the property. It was the beginning.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Correct.
That's what I have to say. It's a journey, and it puts you in charge of that journey.
Correct.
You know, you once you understand the rules and laws, you are your own guide. Okay, taking my hand down.
Yeah, you get to drive the car. Before that, the car was driving you everywhere. You were driven. You were driven by the likes and dislikes in your instinctive center. You were driven by the comfort and discomfort in your instinctive center. You were driven by your habits in your moving center. You were driven by your emotional reactions in the emotional center. You were driven by the formulations in your intellectual center, what you believed to be right, what you believed to be wrong, right?
Social mores.
Now, not any longer. Now, they, as Gurdjieff said, there's a presence. There's a presence in the carriage that wasn't there before. Oh my God. And it makes it possible now, instead of being driven by the car, it makes it possible for you to drive the car. And you don't have to be a mechanic to do it. You can be an artist, or you
Thank
can,
God.
or you can be an engineer, or you can be a landscape contractor like myself. So, Nadir.
Couple of things for Volker and Claudia. So Volker, I think I asked you, so I apologize if I don't remember, but what is your career? What do you do?
I'm a salesman in logistics.
Okay, so I'm guessing at some point you went through some college program or some university program, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Right, and there were textbooks that you had to.
Sure.
Right, and probably in the textbook there were many references and footnotes of what this thing was based on, right? But
Sure.
I'm pretty sure that he didn't go through all the books, all the references and all the
Surely
footnotes.
not. Yeah.
So I think this is kind of similar. What we're trying to say is that you don't have to go through everything to get enough understanding towards the most important goal of the course. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I want to say there. And for Claudia, I'm always amazed how those of us who are just, maybe a couple of years or maybe more ahead in the program, the questions that you're asking now, I ask the same questions. As it's for me to sign objectivity, like you get, I get goosebumps now because it's like the same. People go through the same understanding and development, and yes, it is. And there's an aspect of dying. You begin to die to your own old ways, and it could be. I remember in a similar situation like yours, when I realized that I can actually I might lose many of what I thought are my friends, and I had the person who brought me to the fourth way said, "Yeah, you might lose whatever is not real in your life." And that's scary because it could be things that you even were afraid to think about, but all of a sudden it's like, whoa, is that am I going to lose this one? But if you're hungry, you just go through this. And the key is not to like Jerry was saying, everybody has the potential. So we are not better than anyone. Maybe we are luckier because we have maybe possibility for an acceleration of the process. So in a way, eventually you might reach a point where you no longer feel sorry for the others that are not interested, even if they're very close to you. You begin to be able to love them impartially just the way they are. But you're doing your thing, and you probably wouldn't want to give it up for anybody, because you're doing what you think is right for your development. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I even feel it that there is there is no choice. There is no option of discussing or thinking it over or whatever. It's just for me, it's a fact, and yeah, it's just the way it is.
Yeah,
The
and there's this
pearl of
beautiful
great price. I mean, it's
model
like
from
it's like the pearl of great price. Go ahead.
yeah, and the model from Russell about the million acorns that fall on the ground,
Mm.
and only a very few just have the right circumstance. So is it just luck? We don't know. But those of us who are maybe lucky, well, it's just be grateful. That's all. Be grateful, and be hopeful for the others without judging them for not doing the same thing.
Yeah, I think luck is a word. It's just many different circumstances have to fall together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And yeah. Anyway, there is no way back.
Yeah, exactly.
There's just, and
Not that safe.
you can't not know anymore, and so
Exactly.
I would like, thank you, Nadir, thank you.
Welcome.
And to Jerry's wonderful explanation with all the mathematics and robots and everything, I would just like to check in if we turn it around, if the math would be crucial, all mathematics, all people really great mathematics, that would mean that their intellectual higher center would be awakened, which is not the case. Am I thinking right?
Yes. So they so if we look at the card structure, it's the intellectual center is made up of the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of spades, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the 2, 3, and 4 are the jack of spades or the formatory apparatus. They
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm hesitating because okay, so let me put it this way. The bottom story of man is the octave from Ray to me, right? Okay, that's the bottom story. And we can look at that bottom story. It's an octave, right? Ray to me, there's an octave from Ray to me. Claudia?
Yes.
Okay. We can look at that octave as a totality, right? And if
Yes.
we look at that, octave as a totality, oh my God, it's got 4 fundamental points, and 3 octaves of radiation. It has a bottom story, a middle story, and a top story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the people that we see as geniuses, they are still in the bottom story of who they are, Ray to me, but in the 3 octaves of radiation in that bottom story, they might be able to get up to the 8 of spades, or the 9 of spades, and the 10 of spades. Okay, but they're still in the bottom story. They okay, and so because they're still in the bottom story, that the only thing that is active in the bottom story of man is the formatory apparatus. But they've gotten to a very high level.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people who win the gold medal, people like Einstein. All of that is happening in the bottom story, but that bottom story has a bottom octave, a middle octave, and a top octave, and so there are people who get to the top octave, right? But it's still in the bottom story.
And it has nothing to do with the higher intellectual center, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Has absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely correct. Correct. It has absolutely nothing to do with the but it can seem similar because of the fractal nature. This is where it gets so incredible. Because of the fractal nature of reality, it can seem similar. Okay? It can appear, it can have the appearance of a similar to a higher level reasoning.
Jerry, may I give an example on this?
Yeah.
So Claudia and others. So the classical caricature of the professor that forgets his umbrella is that, like, he's very intellectual in that lower octave, but he's not present, and maybe he's also not nice to the people around him. So he doesn't have the higher emotional center active to be conscious and empathic to others. That's not developed.
Like Picasso, he was a genius in art, but a terrible human being.
Yeah, there you go. Arnold Schwarzenegger made it to the top in the physical, the bottom octave, sometimes referred to as the physical. Okay, made it to the top in the middle octave, the emotional, as a Oscar-winning actor, right? And he sort of made it to the top in the top octave when he became governor of California.
And he still cheated with his maid.
Yeah, exactly. So and lost his family because of but it was all in that bottom story. Right? But he looks like this, you know, Picasso looks like this great artist. Einstein looks like this great scientist. These people, but you know, that's where the work says man 1, 2, and 3 are all on the same level, right?
Ah.
right?
Yeah.
They're all on the same level. They're all on this bottom story.
Hmm.
Okay.
Well, and if many people start having an opinion about somebody or something, then human beings tend to join in for
Yeah.
other reasons.
Correct.
Become
That's the
Hard to
sheep.
stand-
That's the sheep. According to Gurdjieff, that's the sheep in us.
Yes, but evolution has its influence there
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
to belong.
We've been programmed to be social animals, right?
Yeah, and we want to belong.
That's actually, oh my God, that's, you know, when two brain beings evolved, that was, in terms of evolution, that was a huge state, the huge development in the evolution of organic life. Oh my God. But we three brain beings were created to go beyond that, right? To go beyond that conditioning. So evolution can happen mechanically up to the note law, which is up to the note of social animals. So that can all happen mechanically, right? But to awaken our higher centers and become present to the higher and become present to the rules and laws that apply to everyone, it takes centers on a different level in us.
Well said.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You guys have been great. All right. So, well, it's just a little after 12:30 here, our time. So unless somebody has a burning question or comment that won't
Just an announcement. I don't know if Dita, did you share what the text that Pam sent you? Pam sent a text message just before the meeting to say that she couldn't join because of a whole bunch of things that's happening, and
Oh,
not
I
because
didn't
you're
get it.
not because you're the leader, Jerry. She says specifically. So.
Everybody loves Jerry.
All right. Okay.
No, I haven't seen my text, so didn't get it.
Okay. Have a great week, everybody, and I'll see you next week if circumstances allow, and so.
And I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you,
Hope so.
Jerry.
Yeah,
I
please.
might not be there.
Thank
My
you, Jerry.
apologies. I might not be there next week if the internet is bad because I'm traveling next week. So
Mhm.
if I'm not there, you know I can't technically.
Well, yeah, thank you for.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Claudia.
Bye.